Hello, my Kinder Art friends. We are going to be starting a new project today, and we're going to be talking all about symmetry. Symmetry means it's the same, and so if something is symmetrical, it's exactly the same on both sides. So a butterfly, for example, has two beautiful wings, and they're exactly the same. When they're resting and they close their wings together, they're exactly the same on both sides, so that whenever they open up their wings, they have two beautiful symmetrical wings. So for our project today, we are going to be reading the story Love Monster by Rachel Bright, and then we're going to create our very own monster today. So let's read our story and get started. Love Monster by Rachel Bright. This is a monster. Hello, monster. I think you'll agree. He's a little bit funny looking, to say the least. He lives in a world of cute, fluffy things, which makes being funny looking pretty darn hard. You might have noticed that everybody loves kittens and puppies and bunnies, you know, cute, fluffy things. But nobody loves a slightly hairy, I suppose a bit googly-eyed monster. Poor monster. This might be enough to make a monster feel, well, a bit down in the dumps. But not being the moping around sort, he decided to set out and look for someone who'd love him just the way he was. He looked high. He looked low, he looked middle-ish, he looked inside and outside. More than once, he thought maybe, just maybe, he'd found what he was looking for. But as it turned out, things were never quite as they seemed. Yet, it would be fair to say that his search did not go well, and then it did not go well some more. It didn't go well for such a long time, in fact, that it began to get dark and scary and, well, not very nice. So the monster, having lost all his oomph, decided it was time to give up and go home. But in the blink of a googly eye, everything changed. You see, sometimes when you least expect it, love finds you. The end. Now that we just finished our story, Love Monster, we're gonna create our own love monster. And to do that, you're gonna need to grab either a piece of construction paper or white paper. I just chose this purple one. And we're gonna start by folding it in half vertically. If something is vertical, that means it's tall and skinny. If something is horizontal, that means it is short and long. All right, so I'm gonna fold my paper in half, so I'm going to do my best to make the edges match and then use my finger to crease the paper down. And so now I have a side that is open and a side that is folded. To make my symmetrical monster, I need to make sure that I draw on the folded side, okay? So we're gonna start by making a really big, like a U, kind of like a U or a J. Here, look, I'll turn it this way to make a J. So I'm gonna start up at the top and go down and make a big capital J. So I made my monster really big, to make sure that he fills up the paper. And then we're also gonna give our monster an ear, so I'm gonna make an upside down V at the top. So to make sure my monster is symmetrical, I'm going to cut it out, making sure that it's on the folded side. So I'm gonna follow my pencil lines. And so now when I open up my paper, I should have a monster. And he's exactly the same on both sides. He's symmetrical, okay? So for my monster, we gotta give him some fur, just like the illustrations in Rachel Bright's book. So what I'm gonna do to give him some fur is I'm gonna kind of make a stamp using a piece of cardboard and a little bit of black paint. If you don't have any paint at home, you can draw some fur on your monster using a marker or a crayon. If you don't have black paint, you can use another color to give them fur. But because my paper is colored, I'm gonna give him some black fur. So I'm just gonna dip the edge of my cardboard into my paint, and I'm gonna go around and stamp and make some different lines for fur. If I want longer pieces, I can turn my cardboard and make longer areas of fur too. And I'm just gonna stamp all around and a little bit on the edge too, to give my monster some fur. Make sure that if you are stamping and using paint at home, that you have something underneath it to protect your area from getting messy. Here I have like a messy mat. That's okay if paint gets on it, but we want to make sure we don't get our table or our space all messy. So now my monster has some fur, and he's looking so cute so far. And so put this in an area to dry and use for next week, because next week we're gonna give him a face and some extra details in the background. I hope you guys have so much fun making your monster. Happy creating!